Hi. Ethereum situation looks quite interesting right now. On the one hand, the short to medium term momentum looks very bullish. So when we backtest certain technical indicators, we can figure out Ethereum is likely going to appreciate in value over the next days and weeks. On the other hand, over the long term, Ethereum does have problems with its relative valuation to other cryptocurrencies and also simply technically, right? Like in terms of efficiency, in terms of costs of processing transactions. And there's quite a bit of competition around smart contract blockchains. And so in this video, we're going to look at all of those different aspects. We try to get to a balanced, objective view to find out if Ethereum right now is the correct hold for your portfolio, for your risk tolerance. And so one thing to note first is simply Ethereum's market cap, right? How large is Ethereum? Ethereum has almost half the size in terms of market cap compared to Bitcoin. It's more than 5 times the size of the closest layer 1 smart contract competitor, which is the Binance Smart Chain, which runs on BNB. And it's 10 times larger than Solana, 10 times larger than Cardano, which are also competitors to the smart contract platform of Ethereum. Now we have to differentiate here somewhat because potentially Solana and Cardano are not directly competing because they're not EVM compatible blockchains. Or in other words, you can't just simply port your Ethereum code, your Solidity code from Ethereum to Solana or to Cardano. You would have to rewrite the entire application. With the Binance Smart Chain though, you can simply just copy and paste your code and simply deploy it on BSC. And so real direct competition for Ethereum comes from BSC. It comes from Polkadot to a certain degree with its Moonbeam blockchain. It definitely comes from Avalanche because Avalanche is EVM compatible. One might even argue that Polygon is somewhat of a competitor. Not a direct competitor, right? It's a layer 2 solution technically that's built on top of Ethereum, but it definitely competes for transactions, right? The gas that is not being spent on Ethereum directly, it might be spent with the Matic token in way lower quantities, in way less value on Polygon. And so there's a lot of competition. We simply have to keep scrolling. We find more competitors. We find Phantom. We find Elrond. There's Harmony. All of those are layer 1 smart contract competitors to Ethereum. But before we jump more into the competitive analysis and look at how market share might potentially be taken away from Ethereum, right? This is the total value locked on the Ethereum network, which went down from its peak by around 30%. Let's first look at back-tested indicators. Or to be more precise, at the short to medium term price development for Ethereum. Over here, we see the 23 and the 39-day moving average. And if you look at different videos on this channel, you will find out when you do a back test for these moving averages and you buy whenever the price is above the moving averages. So you go with the momentum. You want to be in the market when prices tend to appreciate, and you sell whenever the price is below those 2 moving averages. When you follow such a strategy and try to find out what are the best durations for this buying and selling, the result is that the 23 and the 39-day moving average, historically, over the entire history of Ethereum, they worked the best. And so right now, this looks short-term very, very bullish. We just crossed the 39-day moving average here in Ethereum. And if you just look at the historical volatility and the historical price movements, I don't think it's entirely unreasonable to assume that we could potentially hit a new all-time high. Maybe go as high as $5,500 in Ethereum. And I think that's especially reasonable when we look at the Tether dominance. So when we look at how is money flowing in and out of the Tether stablecoin, when we simply compare the peaks over here and the troughs over here for the Tether dominance with the price movements of Ethereum, what we notice is that there's a very strong negative correlation. Or in other words, money flows from the alts to Ethereum and then from Ethereum to the alts. So sometimes people are risk on, sometimes people are risk off. So a bottom over here in the Tether dominance means a top over here for Ethereum. And so now the recent bottom here in Ethereum's price on the 27th of January, it coincided with an elevated value here for the Tether dominance as well. So we are going down again over the long term. the Tether adoption is increasing. And with that money currently flowing out of Tether, maybe we can again see Ethereum's price potentially increase. And so if I had to bet where is Ethereum's price going, rather short term, I would say even though the competition is heating up, even though the market cap relative to the competition is very high, simply given the overall dynamics, the overall momentum, there is likely some room to grow here for Ethereum. Now look at this chart over here on DeFi Llama. This shows over a relatively long period of time, right, since August 2020, how the market share in the decentralized finance space developed across different blockchains. And we can see there's some kind of fragmentation happening here, right? Let's zoom in over here. At the beginning, basically everything was Ethereum, right? Like 96, 95% of the DeFi ecosystem was Ethereum. And with the increasing gas fees, with the increasing transaction fees, since beginning of last year when the altcoin rally started, different layer 1 blockchains started to gain speed. They started to gain market share. And this purple area over here, this light purple area, this is the Binance Smart Chain. And over time, more and more competitors took away some of that Ethereum dollars. Of course, the overall ecosystem increased, right? So the total value locked for Ethereum, it grew during this time, but the market dominance definitely shrunk. The blue area over here, by the way, is the Terra ecosystem. So this is where UST got quite a bit of adoption. The UST stablecoin that pays out roughly 20% per annum. So this is the current long-term trend. Ethereum is still by far the largest, right? It's got 61% market dominance in the smart contract space, but there is the Terra ecosystem, there is the Binance Smart Chain, there's Avalanche, there's Phantom. So the fundamental question over here is, do you want to hold Ethereum over the long term? Or to be more precise, do you want to hold Ethereum over the long term versus its competitors that might still take away market share? The problem with betting on the competitors is always which one of the competitors will make the race, right? This is a pretty balanced fragmentation over here. And sometimes a competitor might grow very quickly and then relatively shrink again. So it's not always easy to spot what competing layer ones will take away the market share. But I think the trend of Ethereum becoming less and less relevant over time, probably because of the high gas fees, it's likely going to continue. ETH 2.0, the implementation of ETH 2.0 and of other efficiency and scaling solutions, it takes way longer than initially anticipated, which gives all this room for the competition. And so one possible approach is to simply buy a basket of maybe the largest competing layer ones, right? Buy a basket of Terra Luna, BNB, AVAX, FTM, Solana, and maybe Polygon. Another approach would be to simply try out all of those blockchains, right? Play with their ecosystems, play with the decentralized apps, and try to find out what you personally like most, where you want to bet against Ethereum potentially. And so the way I see this is, this might actually be an opportunity. The short-term momentum for Ethereum looks bullish. Statistically, this is a very good buying signal for Ethereum. Long-term, however, I do think that Ethereum is likely going to underperform the rest of the market. And thus, if you currently do hold some Ethereum and you somewhat agree with this thesis, then maybe it makes sense to sell some of that ETH during this upcoming bull run, in case it does come, right? Nobody knows, nobody can read the future. But if we do see this bull run, then maybe start shifting some of that money away from Ethereum. At least if you're not actively trading, if you're considering to hold over several years. Because if Ethereum is really going to underperform and more money will flow out of the blockchain, then you can probably not wait until there's market consensus around this, right? You probably want to sell when there's a lot of hype out there, when prices are elevated, right? When this becomes a very well-established story and a lot of people expect Ethereum not to deliver on its promises. When that becomes clear to most people, then it will be way harder to sell Ethereum, because then you probably have to sell at low prices. You might have to sell for losses. And selling for losses can be tough, right? Nobody wants to buy high and sell low. Now, if you're wondering what kind of layer 1 competitors do I buy, and if you want to know at what point in time do I buy them, when do I sell them, feel free to check out the premium membership, to be found at thebitcoinstrategy.com. Link is also in the video description. We've got daily market updates on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on various altcoins. We've got exclusive content on how to do backtests on various technical indicators. And of course, a private chat where you can ask me any questions. If you enjoyed this video, please give this a like. It will help this channel grow. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Last but not least, there's also a public Telegram group. Simply search for Bitcoin Strategy Channel within the Telegram app. Be careful though, there are people that impersonate me. They try to scam you out of your crypto. I never message you directly. So if anybody called Gerhard messages you and tries to say you something, simply block those accounts. That's not me. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.